Unit 11, page 157. Listening 2.
Well, hello, Thomas. Good to see you. Come in.
Hi, Patrick. Thanks.
Thomas, you know Rebecca Schneider, don't you? We're working on the distance learning case together.
Sure, we already met. Hi, Thomas.
Hi, Rebecca.
Right. Rebecca, Thomas will be shadowing us on this case. Well, let's get down to work, shall we? Maybe we should start by finding out what you know about distance learning, Thomas.
Okay, I only know that distance learning basically refers to a learning situation in which the teacher and the student are in separate locations. And so the teaching is done via technology, such as the internet.
Yes, that's right. And naturally, there are copyright issues involved.
Yes, I imagine the concept of fair use plays a role, when you're allowed to make limited use of copyrighted material without permission. If I'm not mistaken, you can use copyrighted material for educational purposes.
Well, generally speaking, that's true. Traditionally, the Copyright Act has allowed teachers to display and perform the works of others in the classroom for educational purposes. So, a teacher can read a poem aloud in class without permission or make photocopies of a text for classroom use.
Okay.
But with distance learning, things get a bit more complicated.
In what way?
Well, a teacher's rights to the fair use of copyrighted material for distance learning are much more limited. That's because distance learning usually involves materials being uploaded to websites. And that means that the materials, texts, images, or music created by others can be transmitted all over the world, potentially to millions of people. These materials could then, theoretically, be downloaded or altered by other users. Naturally, all of this activity threatens the interests of copyright owners.
So, in other words, just because the use of a work is educational does not mean it's necessarily fair.
That's right.
This may sound naive, but isn't the freedom of access to information an important value too? Isn't it something like the foundation of education?
Yes, you have a point there. It certainly is, or should be. Isn't it ironic that just when technology is advanced and information can reach more people than ever, the use of materials for online courses is becoming more restricted?
Well, yes, but you can look at it another way too. The aim of copyright law has always been to find a balance between the rights of copyright owners and society's interest in ensuring the free flow of information. That hasn't changed.
That may well be true, Patrick, but you have to see the bigger picture. Things are changing. Important battles are being fought over digital copyright issues. And new federal statutes and judicial opinions are shifting the balance of power to copyright holders at the expense of educators. The concept of fair use for education is just...
Well, from a legal point of view, the debate is about...
Sorry, can I just finish my point? As I was saying, the concept of fair use for educational purposes is slowly but surely being narrowed by the law. And what's more, we're heading toward a situation where copyright owners will soon be arguing before the courts that activities, which we've always considered normal and customary fair use, are copyright infringements.
Yes, but that's only one side of the problem, Rebecca. I think the important issue here is what the courts look at when they determine if the use of material is fair use or not.
So does the idea of fair use still exist in the context of distance learning?
Yes, it does. There's a fair use analysis, a way of analyzing the use of copyrighted material. Teachers can apply it like a kind of test when they want to decide whether the use of a work represents a copyright infringement or not.
How does that work?
You look at 4 factors. Let me give you an example. Let's say you're an instructor developing an online course and you want to use a copyrighted text. First, you would ask, what is the purpose and character of the use? For example, is it educational or commercial? Then you look at the nature of the copyrighted work. Is it factual or imaginative? And then at the amount of the work used in relation to the whole work. Is it only a small amount? Finally, you have to consider the effect of the use of the material on the market for the work. The answers to these questions tell you if the use of the material is fair use or not.
But Patrick, you have to admit that your 4-factor analysis can lead to different results. Two people can review the same facts about a proposed use and come to different conclusions about its fairness. It seems to me that the real issue is how we find an objective way of judging fair use in the educational environment.